What's up, Fantasy A-Team Nation? I'm your host, Josh Jenkins, and today's video is going to focus on our Week 2 top tight end matchups. But before we start the show, I want to welcome my co-host, Zach Roberts, back to the show. Welcome back, Zach.
Hey, what's up, Fantasy A-Team Nation? Thanks for having me back, Josh. I appreciate you.
All right, I guess we might as well dive straight in and, go ahead and give us your first top six right off the bat.
Yeah. We'll start with that top six. The guys, it doesn't matter who they're matched up against, just start them every week. So we're going to go with Rob Gronkowski, my boy Travis Kelce. Got his garb on again. I got to support my team, people. All right. So then with that said, you got to put Darren Waller, George Kittle, Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson as well. Get all those guys started, man. Those guys are the top six in my eyes. With that said, I want to jump to number one on the list, Dallas Goedert. I got him there. He's versus San Fran. They're on their 30th versus the tight end. I think last week he had 5 targets, 4 receptions, 42 yards, and a touchdown. I'm looking for him to build off that, what he did last week, and have higher numbers this week versus the weaker defense. So I think he's going to get more opportunities.
Yeah, I believe that as well. Between him and Devontae Smith on the outside, I think those will be your 2 primary weapons for Jalen Hurts. So I look for a big game from him.
Yeah, I think so too. He's due too for to have a more yardage, higher yardage game, I think. So look for him to get a little more thrown his way and probably some more yardage and get the touchdown this week again, I believe.
All right, sounds good.
Also, I want to say I actually love the matchup. That's why it's like, he only had the 42 yards, but I do love this matchup. That's why I have him up here. So, that's why he's up here so high. There was guys that had more yardage that are further down this list, but they don't have the weakest, weak as D versus the tight end. So I look for Goddard to be more of a safety blanket for Jalen. So I'm going to start with number 2, or next is number 2, Jared Cooks versus Dallas, 32 ranked defense versus the tight end. So with that said, Cooks had 8 targets from Justin Herbert last week, 5 receptions, 56 yards. He didn't get into the end zone, but I look for him to have similar production. And this week, I think he gets TD and more yards. So I think that he's easily becoming one of Herbert's favorite guys to throw to.
Yeah, I believe so as well. I believe he'll have a good week. I believe Justin Herbert will need to hit him because this is going to be a high-scoring game between them and the Dallas Cowboys.
I agree. But since you touched on that, we'll touch on the Dallas tight end here later. And I think Dallas will be playing from behind, I think. Seems like I know they're 32nd ranked versus the tight end. However, Dallas puts up a lot of numbers, so I think that the Chargers will hold them a little bit in the early part, and then Dak will be throwing his butt off to keep them in the game, which means a lot more targets for the Dallas tight end. So with that said, it could be a back and forth game between the 2 quarterbacks, between Dak and Herbert, and if that happens, these tight ends are going to get more production. Yeah,
it's definitely going to be a shootout, I believe.
I think so too. I say that later, and I say that at the end here. So number 3, David Njoku versus Houston. They're the 26th versus the tight end. And Njoku, he only caught the ball 3 times, but he was targeted 5. So he had a couple drops or misses or whatever. But he put up 76 yards. So he outproduced Austin Hooper. And they're having a better matchup. I look for Baker Mayfield to throw to Njoku more this week. And that means Njoku's going to build off of what his production was. So I think he'll be throwing more to Njoku than he will Hooper, just for production-wise. And Njoku seems to be a little more athletic and gets open. So we'll see what happens, man. Mayfield can get him the ball. He's electric. So
I agree. With the absence of Beckham, which is one more target,
right,
it leaves Njoku to fill the role. And, with his performance last week, the only thing he could have done better was found the end zone. So,
well, okay. I'm glad you said that because I have this written down. He had 2 red zone targets, which those are 2 of the 2 that he missed. He had 8 or 5 targets. He caught 3. He missed the 2 red zone. He didn't catch those passes, which means they had him double. I didn't watch all of the game, so they may have had him double or just he missed or just a bad thrown ball. However, he's heating up and he's played 59% of the snaps last week and he was productive. So that's why I think also he'll outperform Austin Hooper. I mean, if you're the coach, you're like, hey, I got to keep going with the guy that's producing, so you're going to keep running him out there. So as long as he's not hurt, he's going to produce.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So number 4, that last matchup, I really like that matchup. That's why we put him at number 3. And so number 4, I have Noah Fant. I don't really like, but I like this matchup because Noah Fant's really athletic for his size. He's not quite a Kelsey or a Waller or a Kittle or some of those other guys, but he's pretty dang athletic. And now that we know Denver's offense is going to be pretty decent, I look for them to be similar to what Njoku and Cleveland's offense is. They're going to build off the run like Melvin Gordon had last week, which means I think Noah Fant will get some of the play action. And he'll continue to get the ball also because he had 8 targets, 6 catches, 62 yards, and 0 touchdowns. He only had 1 red zone target, and that was one of the ones he missed because he didn't get the touchdown. So I look for him to have more red zone targets and to be on the receiving end of some of those play actions, probably to Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I also like that matchup. The fact that Jacksonville's got the 13th ranked defense, they're not the best, but they're not the worst. But, they're going to have to be focused on Gordon as well out of the backfield and him being able to catch the ball. Of course, that's going to leave, Noah Fant open along with the rest of the wideouts. So, yeah, I think he'll have a good game.
I think so, too. I think Denver is an offense that we had a question mark in the beginning of the season. We saw a little bit of what they're going to do, and I actually think they're going to be a big surprise. They're going to that game surprised me. So if they can build off that and keep going, there'll be people, there's going to be players in their offense that you're going to want to keep, like Fant. I think even, Gordon is going to be somebody that, we put him on the waiver wire video. I think he's going to be productive going forward. And, looks like they're going to be a decent offense, someone that you can get points out of. So just depends on the matchup every week.
Yeah, too bad they lost Jerry Jeudy for, probably about the first 8 games with that high ankle sprain. So that would make him even more lethal.
Yeah, I agree. He's a bad man. Jeudy is, man. He was awesome in college. So number 5, I got Tyler Higbee versus Indy. It's their 23rd versus the tight end. He had 6 targets for 5 receptions, 68 yards, but no touchdown. And he had 1 red zone target, which is, he had 5 of 6 or 6. Yeah, 5 of 6 on his receiving. So that 1 target was the red zone that he missed. So I look for him to get more of that this week. And he's fastly becoming one of Stafford's favorite guys. They have some chemistry together. So with that said, man, I believe that it's going to be a high scoring, close game. Stafford and company can easily put up 30, guys. I didn't know until last week, but I think they could easily put up 30 points, which means lots of fantasy points for everybody in that offense. Like we put Cooper Kupp on the wide receiver, list. So,
yeah, I agree. I think he's another big body out there amongst all of the targets, the weapons that Stafford has to his arsenal that he can throw to any one of them he wants to. So, I look for a big game from him.
And, if it does do what I was saying, if it's going to be a close, high-scoring game, he's going to have more than the 6 targets. With that chemistry, I look for him to build off the numbers and actually get the touchdown and probably higher yard. He could put up a Kelsey day, put up 100 yards and two touchdowns, just depending on how it all works out. It's going to be a good game. Good game to watch, guys. So my next guy, like we were talking about him earlier, number 6, Dustin Schultz. Now him and Tyler Higbee could easily be switched back and forth because I think both the games are going to play out similarly. But with what we said about the Indy and LA Rams game, I think the Chargers and Dallas game is going to be a higher scoring game. So I believe Dustin Schultz, versus the Chargers, he's got their 19th versus the tight end. I do like this matchup as well. He had 6 targets for 6 receptions for 45 yards. That number is going to go up. The yardage number is going to go up. Probably his targets are going to go up because he showed he's super productive when he's on the field. So this game's going to be a high-scoring game. Dallas may have to even play from behind a little bit, like I was saying earlier. And if that happens, his yards and targets are going to go up. And I believe he gets a touchdown. You know, he's going to get in the end zone. So that's kind of what I got for you on the tight ends this week.
Yeah, I agree with the Schultz. I think he will get more playing time than Jarwin. And with the absence of Gallup, you know, I believe he'll fill that role the best he can. But I believe it's going to be a high-scoring game. So look for a lot of fantasy points.
I look for Dak to throw 40 times or more this year. I mean, probably maybe even 50. He threw, 56, I think, last week. So he's going to throw a lot, man. That's the only way. I'm not saying that their offense isn't great, but from what we saw, Elliott doesn't look like the Elliott of old. So the rushing attack with their offensive line isn't going to be what it was. And what that means that he's got to hike the ball, get the ball out quick, or roll out of the pocket, get rid of the ball. That means a lot of throws for Dak. So that's why I think Schultz would be at where he is on the list. There's a few other guys you could put that don't have favorable matchups, but are really good, like Robert Tonyan's really good. Do you have anybody else to throw on there?
Watch out for Eric Eberon. He usually has some good games. Maybe Big Ben can connect with him.
Yeah, he could have a breakout week this week. That's all we got, man. All I have to say again is thanks for all the support, for all the videos, you guys, man. We like the subscriptions and the likes, man, and the views. It's freaking amazing. So we appreciate all the support. We're going to keep making these videos and try to help keep you guys winning this week and every week after this. So appreciate the support.
Guys, there you have it. There's all the knowledge, stats that we have compiled. We've threw out there to you guys to grab a hold of. Pick up these guys, throw them in your lineups, and hopefully you have a great fantasy weekend. With that being said, as always, give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and remember, friends, don't let friends auto draft.